look in the direction of the photographer in front of the flags. Dear sitting near Tanusabe, please look to the back in the direction of the photographer's.
Honk, mother trucker, and holy cow, that Trudeau guy is pretty unpopular. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org, and we have a lot of crazy news to get into as the U.S. national debt has just hit over $30 trillion ahead of schedule, way ahead, as of course this is not only America's problem, but the world's problem, as the government is setting their eyes to spend more of your money supporting the most stupidest ideas that you could even think of. That, as of course, we have the latest breaking news that we're just going to jump right into, as of course, at the corrupted, immoral, scandal-ridden, fake news-producing CNN Corporation, we have yet another scandal, as the head honcho there, the man who worked with Donald Trump on The Apprentice, has just officially released a letter resigning as head of this terrible, horrible organization, creating real-life harm to not just those around them, but to, of course, arguably the entire world. This left loyal lemmings like Brian Stetler stunned at this decision, as, of course, new information is coming to light that Jeff Zucker allegedly quit because he was lying about an affair that he was having with an underling, a senior executive at the company that worked there for over 20 years. According to some media sources, the affair was, quote, an open secret, which was going on for years. But who cares about the personal drama here? As, of course, we know that Jeff Zucker was positioning to leave CNN for quite a long time now, and now especially with their ratings in the toilet, with their obsessive, deranged behavior with the Trump administration, which was concluded with more deranged, delusional reporting on the global sickness, it looks like there's many factors that contributed to the downfall of the head honcho of CNN. And to think that this was all about an affair that people were talking about ever since 2017 is a little simplistic, especially in the background of all the latest controversy that has been happening at this major corporate media institution that had to fire multiple employees for absolutely illicit, illegal activities. A number of producers that were fired for hurting small children in unspeakable ways that we can't even mention on this broadcast. One of CNN's top anchors tried to intimidate and cover up the abuses of his brother, who then was governor of New York. There's, of course, the Lubin Tubin controversy, a major lawsuit against Don Lemon for some horrible actions that he's alleged of doing, and that's only scratching the surface of the latest information that is public so far. What is not public probably is a lot more sinister, especially at such a corrupted, horrible news organization that is known to say and do anything for a buck. This was a news organization that is failing, that is going under. By some estimates, their ratings have dropped over 90%, as of course the organization has been accused of doing marketing and PR for the bureaucracy, for the government, for the elites, rather than actually doing any kind of news reporting. Is the dream of famous eugenicist Ted Turner crashing down right in front of him? I think so. Just as there's bound to be a major backlash against that news organization that pushed a narrative and an agenda that is unraveling in front of many people's eyes, as cases in the United States have dropped by 30% and will continue to drop dramatically from here, while in other places like Israel, the numbers keep going dramatically up. What's the difference between the two? Well, we're going to be talking about that specifically on LukeUncensored.com later on today. As of course, there will be a major reckoning coming ahead that is bound to piss off a lot of people, especially with the latest Johns Hopkins study coming out highlighting how lockdowns had little to no public health effect at all, while only imposing enormous economic and social costs. We're going to be talking about this new Johns Hopkins study, plus a lot more, all later on today. LukeUncensored.com. Click the link down in the description below to get yet another video that's fully uncensored, fully unfiltered later on today for your viewing enjoyment on our own platform where we could get away with whatever we want. Your participation not only helps us grow as an independent media organization, but this is the place where you get 3 master classes, exclusive cheap merchandise that's available to you at cost, as well as the possibility to get access to exclusive events which are only available to members. If you haven't signed up yet, what are you waiting for? Just click the link down in the description below. Now, I think it's very fair to say that a lot of things are changing drastically in front of our eyes, especially if you go to the supermarket and you see continually the price of goods going up dramatically, and you might be asking yourself, why are things becoming so expensive? Well, that's because we live under a Federal Reserve money printing policy that literally is destroying the value of your dollar. As of course, the majority of US dollars in existence were printed in the last 22 months. And that's why just moments ago, the US national debt has skyrocketed past $30 trillion, 3 years ahead of schedule, ahead of the predictions, as of course the U.S. federal government has been borrowing more money to pay off for their idiotic, absolutely insane policies that are ridiculous. Now, people need to understand the larger ramifications of this, because this not only affects the future of this country, but this, of course, affects you. This is why the price of groceries and commonly household items are so expensive. This is why they're going to continue to be even more expensive from here, as the government plans on spending more of your money, spending essentially your future away, all of course to, of course, benefit their private banking and multinational corporate friends, which literally through the last few years, because of this global sickness, conducted one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history. $5 trillion is estimated to have been borrowed to help against the global sickness, which arguably, according to Johns Hopkins, with their policies, did little to nothing when it came to actually helping the people. What did it do? It transferred nearly $7 trillion from the middle class to, of course, the special billionaire class, as the rich have been richer than they ever have been and have made tremendous profits off of this, while, of course, everyone, by and large, lost their wealth, their savings, and their future. This is not only a problem in the United States, it's also a problem in China, where the government is printing money that are like crazy, and also Europe, where inflation is hitting new records, as the Bilderberg central bankers there literally will be transferring the cost to the general public and most likely be creating more austerity measures that will siphon away more wealth from the general public. Policies implemented by individuals like Christine Lagarde, the European Central Bank president, and of course very prominent Bilderberg attendee. Now, the government's response to this isn't to say, hey, let's stop printing money, let's stop borrowing, let's stop spending so much money, let's actually look at what's happening here, reassess things, let's understand what's wasteful, what's not, what we actually need and what we don't. That's not the response here at all. The response is, we need more money. We have to borrow and print more of it to give to the military-industrial complex, because who else will deploy weapons in Ukraine? Who else is going to send soldiers to Poland to protect the borders of Ukraine while we ignore our borders here in the United States? This, as thousands of troops have been moved into the Eastern European region and tons of weaponry being deployed in that country. Money well spent, according to the military-industrial complex. Where else is your money going? Well, it's going to causes and institutions like Black Lives Matter that many corporations and governments supported, and now the official organization can't account for over $60 million that they received. Where else is your money going? Well, it's of course going to China, where now over 400 million tests are being created by blacklisted Chinese companies that work, of course, with the Chinese state and military. Why do we all need to be sent tests here in the United States? What's the purpose of this? Especially with the variants changing so quickly, with the numbers going down dramatically so quickly? Well, the Biden administration doesn't care. You're paying for it. As of course, other testing companies are being accused of faking their test results, lying to patients, and even in some instances selling off the DNA of individuals to private companies and countries. This, as of course, China has also been caught many times trying to steal Americans' DNA samples, and now we're using a Chinese military state-backed company to take samples of everyone's DNA and tests for this global sickness, and we're actually paying for this, and with the larger economic problems still looming. They're still not here. You think it's bad now. It's only going to get worse from here because there's no way for it not to be. There haven't been any solutions for the large bubbles of debt, of lies, of fakeness that have been inflated so dramatically. There haven't been any spending cuts. The government wants to print more money, spend more of it on larger efforts that arguably make the situation that much worse. And this is why, just recently, with major economic problems ahead, the Biden administration is signaling an attack on Bitcoin, while, of course, the Federal Reserve launching a review for their own kind of Bitcoin, a centralized digital state currency that they're looking at possibly implementing on the rest of the world. You see, you're an encryption-based decentralized technology that allows people to get away from the larger Ponzi schemes perpetrated against them by the corporate banking class. Bad. The same multinational corporation banking corporate class creating their own centralized digital currency. Good. And that to me is absolutely idiotic, and if you agree, share this video with your friends and family members. It's absolutely ridiculous what's going on, and it's only going to get worse from here. I hope you guys are preparing. I got one more video coming your way where I try to give you as much value as I can on lukeuncensored.com. I hope to see you there. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys actively watching, sharing this video, and spending your time with me. And because you do, I'm eternally grateful, and I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.